Previously on Deathwatch, the Puritanicals.
Cousin Gracchus, requesting immediate air support.
As the dust clears, you see 3 tech priests holding las pistols, looking terrified.
Grabs the tech priest's hand, still gripping his las pistol, and then forces the hand and the las pistol through the tech priest's head,
slamming down immediately within sight of you and Barbas is Commander Diahon. Landing next to him is 6 more crisis suits. I brought the heavy artillery, and with that the ground trembles as a titanic riptide battlesuit slams to the ground directly behind the Tau Commander. I believe it takes more fire to scorch a dragon. And watch Captain Varvarus begins to advance towards the riptide. Garfield, you're in the air traffic control building.
I'm right in the centre, aren't I? So it'll take me probably like a turn to get out. So I'm just going to prepare myself for that as I boost around corners, just doing a full sprint just to get in position and getting some heavy cover at the same time.
With your jump pack, are you leaving the building or are you going towards the exit?
I'm going towards the exit or a window, but just sort of staying within.
Are you leaving towards the Riptide or towards the battlesuit or one of the sides?
Towards Danyo, or Diahon, sorry.
Dima.
How far away are they from the closest window to them?
They're within 30 meters.
Dima will turn facing the window, already preamped the psychic power, and just in one smooth motion just throw it naturally towards the Riptide.
I thought you Commander Titan Commander Diahon.
Oh, Dion. Yeah, sorry, Dion. Right, yeah.
So this bolt of green fire shoots out of the window, breaking through the transparent aluminium, and slamming down into Commander Diahon's force field, which immediately flares up, dissipating the green fire around him.
Tough bastard.
Sala.
Sal's going to immediately follow to support Dima and position himself next to him and bring up his plasma pistol, overcharge a shot and fire it at Diahon as well.
Commander Diahon's force field fails to activate, and he fails to get out of the way of the shot in time. As such, the plasma bolt strikes him in the chest, searing his armor, but leaving him relatively unfazed. But you've definitely dealt some damage. Barbas.
So Barbas, seeing the change of, the change in the combat, as Watch Captain Varvarus has just left a sizable dent in the now burning Riptide, and skids to a halt on the floor, immediately repositions as fast as he can, Vox clicking like a start his battle can thing saying, moving to shoot, as he shoulders his las cannon, immediately aiming at Diahon, and leaves a singed hole in the see-through aluminum. Melts a little bit.
As the laser streaks towards Diahon, his battlesuit is already moving, and the shot goes past his head into the distance. So the crisis suits around Commander Diahon, seeing their efforts against the Watch Captain have been relatively fruitless, are beginning to sort of move around and kind of fan out to try and encircle him to make as much space as possible, as they're going to continue opening up on him with their guns. The battle suits are moving around, opening up with their plasma rifles. Their shots just all fly wildly around the watch captain as they don't want to risk hitting their riptide, it seems, and they are just really aiming wide and only trying to search for that safe shot. Meanwhile, the crisis suits that are around the back of the building suddenly begin firing at something. You're not quite sure what's going on there because no one has eyes on the rear of the building, but there is now the sounds of fighting and conflict out there.
Do I have eyes on the rear of the building?
Where are you standing?
As of currently, I'm in the rear of the building because I haven't had an action to move forward.
Are you near a window?
My auger ray sees through walls.
There are 6 friendly pings out there.
Oh.
6 friendly Deathwatch signatures.
I'm gonna, just on everybody's HUD through the walls, just mark them green.
Commander Danyo, seeing that he is being specifically targeted and identifying the largest caliber weapon threat, is going to basically take up a bit of a defensive maneuver, moving so that he's partially obscured and weaving in amongst his own men as he fires at Barbus with his ion blaster.
Barbus kind of chuckles over open comms, says, "You have tried this before, Diahon. It will not work."
So Commander Diahon opens up and his shots go wide, peppering the side of the building. Finally, the riptide, burning, engulfed in flame, with an angry salamander watch captain two-handing a thunderhammer at its feet, is going to kind of look at this guy that has just kind of walked up and absolutely crippled its systems, essentially in a single blow. It's going to attempt to overcharge its Nova reactor once again. So the Riptide, boosting its engines, immediately flies backward at speed from Watch Captain Varvarus, blazing into the air where the Watch Captain cannot grab it. It is now flying. As it kind of jumps into the air, blasting off from the ground, dust blowing out from around it, the fire on it is extinguished. August
is going to step out into the doorway, and he's going to mutter a curse to Diahon, continuing their tete-a-tete from the last turn, saying,
"Then if you measure your honor by your strategy, then you have none."
And he's going to throw a crack grenade at him. August kind of lazily throws the crack grenade out the side of the door, making sure to prioritize his cover.
The crack grenade, however, is swept about by the maneuvering winds of the Tau, who are moving in a circular formation around the Watch Captain, and is completely thrown off course and explodes against the ground, meters away from its targets. Watch Captain Varvarus, surrounded by Tau battlesuits, silently surges forward, swinging his Thunderhammer two-handed at one of the unfortunate crisis suits that he, with shocking speed, is able to reach. Another crisis suit brings up its fusion blaster, firing at the Watch Captain as he charges in, but the shot goes completely wide, clearly expecting this heavy marine to be moving a lot slower than he is. And the Thunderhammer is brought down suddenly and furiously on the Tau battlesuit, who nimbly steps out the way, the Thunderhammer slamming into the ground, exploding and crackling lightning and flame, as the Watch Captain turns once again, his hammer ready, as he glares at this crisis suit. "Ignis! Call in Gracchus! We are extracting!" Garfield.
Seeing Watch Captain Varvarus here, Garfield's on his best good boy behaviour. So, he will charge in and attempt to cover Watch Captain Varvarus as Garfield charges in back to back with Watch Captain Varvarus as he goes in for a strike, his jump pack burning bright as he shouts, "For the Emperor!" as Garfield's power sword plunges in to the left arm of the Tau battlesuit, carving its way as sparks fly everywhere, as his last drift sort of puts him back to back with the Watch Captain.
The crisis suit is heavily wounded by the attack, and the Watch Captain is basically going to grunt and sort of out the side of his helmet you just hear, It was perhaps not wise to move into close quarters with their priority target. I hope you can survive large-scale plasma blasts.
With you, Watch Captain, we can survive anything.
Dima.
Dima, having seen the Riptide fly up and taking it as almost some sort of insult, is going to poke his head round the corner again. Just utter, "Get back here!" And I'm going to force a smite at him.
Once again, this torrent of fire you unleash from your hand, the bolt flying up into the sky, is dissipated across the force field of this time the Riptide.
I will delay my half action till next turn.
Alright, absolutely. Sala.
So Sala's going to Vox Click to Gracchus for extraction to come in, all guns blazing, priority target at the Riptide. And with the rest of Sala's turn, he's going to, with a full action, he's going to spend the last of his cohesion, which is 3 points, on Strong Point, nominating Barbus as the Strong Point.
Can you give me a command test, please? Once again, giving this order, you have this blurt of interference and this assault on your technical senses as Commander Diahon, whilst drifting around in these strange esoteric patterns to avoid fire, is simultaneously trying to hack your systems. And you just get all this interference and bursts of nonsense data imitating Sala's voice. But Sala, with your cool head and your expertise at command, you manage to clearly relay your orders to Gracchus and to the squad to move them into strongpoint formation.
I'm going to use my reaction to declare the floating battlesuit which shot at Commander Varvas as out of an action as the target for strongpoint.
So, because Barbus has done that, I can swap to my bolt gun and shoot the thing. Sala pulls up his bolter and pulls the trigger and hits a stray bird.
Constantinos burst through into the front room with all the windows, showing the battle going on the outside, as he quickly kneels beside one of the window frames, raising up his plasma gun, specifically the one Barbus tactically jumped in earlier, I do believe, as I will raise my plasma gun, ready to fire.
The plasma shot fired by Constantinos goes wide of its intended target.
Barbus, the laser pointer coming out of his autosense goggles. Those of you on the top floor who can't see Barbus but can see the laser, watch as it just dramatically swings up. And he responds with, "New target selected, unload," and fires off another searing las cannon shot.
Your las cannon burst slams into the Riptide's head, searing off half of it, as is once again heavily damaged by this shot. Sparks flying off it. The Riptide beginning to kind of wobble in the air. It's clearly lost a lot of its senses, stabilizes, and it looks like it's barely holding on. The Titanic war machine beginning to break apart.
Barbus has a reaction before the battlesuits do anything. He would say, "This will not do," and fire again.
This las cannon burst fires. You can see it streaking through the sky towards this Riptide's ball joint of its right leg. You know that if this shot strikes home, this Riptide is doomed. But you see the shot impact against the force field of the Riptide, dissipating as it stands firm, hovering in the air.
Barbus kind of grumbles something to himself, keeping his aim focused on the little bastard up there.
The sounds of battle continue from the back of the airport administration building. However, they are suddenly brought to a cessation, as it seems that the friendly targets, according to your Auspex reading, have won and are beginning to move into the back of the building. The Riptides, seeing now 2 targets, are going to fire one at Garthiel with both barrels. Both shots striking home. Garthiel, you manage to nimbly slide out of the way of the white-hot beam of fusion energy that just streams past you. However, 2 shots of blue plasma energy slam into your right leg, one of them striking right under your knee pad, puncturing through into the soft armor, causing a spurt of blood, and you just stagger in your step.
Curse you, Xenos scum! You are next!
Another crisis suit opens fire, this time on Watch Captain Varvas. Only 1 shot hitting, and it's the fusion blaster. At which point, Garthiel, you are close enough to see this. You watch as the Watch Captain sees this beam of fusion energy coming towards him. He simply shifts his shoulder, grabbing his cloak in one hand, his great mantle of purple drake scale, pulls it over him, the fusion blaster hitting it and dissipating harmlessly across the dragon scale as he throws it back down, grunting as the other crisis suit that was engaged with you leaps away, disengaging. So finally we come to the Riptide. The Riptide, flying in the air, greatly damaged, is going to land to the ground so that he doesn't take full damage if he gets his goddamn jetpack knocked out, and is going to turn his large guns on the Watch Captain and Garthiel, opening fire with his ion accelerator, not overcharging this time. The shot from the ion accelerator flies completely wide, missing the pair of you completely and slamming into the ground over 30 meters away from you. However, a barrage of missiles are also launched from the Riptide, streaking towards the pair of you. The smart missiles fire into the Watch Captain first, whose force field fails to activate. He then manages to dodge 3 of them, and then 3 of them hit him. All 3 of the smart missiles slam into Varvarus's chest, and he is completely unfazed. Commander Diahon, seeing the situation, seeing how the tide of battle is very uncertain and his main asset is going down, is going to begin relaying something as you see him kind of pause and just stop for a moment before raising up his gun and firing off a quick shot at the Watch Captain once again from his cyclic ion blaster. And Varvarus simply sidesteps the bolt of ion energy, fixing his gaze on the Tau commander who maybe shouldn't have provoked the dragon. Konstantinos.
Feeling very confident that the tide of battle is mostly now in our favor now that we have Mr. Goku himself, Konstantinos is going to continue his barrage of fire from his position, opening up semi-auto at the Riptide.
Unfortunately, your shot hits the Riptide and fails to deal any damage, simply scarring the paint on its armor.
So before Konstantinos' turn ends, August feels he might as well, draws his bolt gun in one hand, fires a single shot off at the Riptide, hoping, beyond hope, that it might just do something. August, seeing the chance, takes a quick shot. It collides with the Riptide, but just bounces straight off. Now, moving into his actual turn, I think it's about time. I think August is very concerned for the well-being of the Watch Captain and for Garthiel, who are now gradually taking hits. August, fearing for the life of his Watch Captain and his brother, jumps from cover, jump pack roaring as he yells a battle cry.
Your species comes to an end, alien!
As August jumps forward, barreling towards Commander Diahon.
Another of the crisis suits brings up its fusion blaster, seeing you rushing its commander, opens fire, but the shot goes completely wide, missing you as you sprint forward. Jump pack jets raring, and you land in melee combat with the Tau commander. Yet, as you do, there is a sudden mechanical noise as the Tau commander's fist whips out a strange mechanical device, shooting out. So, this mechanical device shoots out. You, in a split-second decision, see this strange gauntlet coming for you. You can see the sheer pneumatic energy as it almost seems to break the sound barrier as it is coming straight for your faceplate. You bring up your shield just in time as this Onager gauntlet slams into it, immediately crumpling and shattering the metal as your shield explodes off your arm. But that's enough time for you to swing your power axe in retaliation.
August's left hand bearing the shield flies back behind him, his axe powering out as he looks at his arm and looks back at Diahon as nothing but a screaming howl erupts from him, and he yells,
Victory and death!
As you bring your axe around, aiming to do nearly the same strike again to cut down this Tau commander, he simply steps aside from your blow and you hear almost whispered in your ear, "Your strategy is flawed," as you hear the whirring of his ion blaster. The watch captain sees August in this extremely dire situation, and the only thing you hear, August, is this sudden rushing of wind, this clanking of chains, shots being fired by a crisis suit, as Watch Captain Varvarus comes bolting down out of the sky, bringing his Thunderhammer down on the Tau Commander's back, slamming straight into the back of the crisis suit. "Not today, alien!" The Watch Captain's hammer comes down and basically in one blow completely cripples Commander D. Johan's suit. D. Johan simply staggering away from the force of the impact, as August is narrowly saved from having his head removed by an ion blaster. And in addition to that, the Tau Commander bursts into flames.
Oh my god!
Garthiel, Victus, the Watch Captain is no longer behind you. You're pretty sure you've never seen a non-jump pack Marine move that fast.
Scarthiel, seeing an opportunity, screams in, jump pack blaring with blinding light as he attempts a grapple. Garthiel, with his jump pack blaring bright, puts his full weight into full-on grapple of this battlesuit as he uses his jump pack to just push straight into the center chest, arms wrapped round, as he just scrapes it along the floor, sparks flying everywhere, as he then maneuvers round it, grabbing his arms and just pulling it towards himself.
The battlesuit struggles against your Astartes might, but is simply pinned, unable to do anything against your monstrous bear hug. Dima.
I'll burst the speed and move in to charge Dion.
As Dima, you turn round in a burst of speed, you leave this room, and you are now in the stairwell of the terminal, and you are running through. There are two Deathwatch Astartes at the top of the stairs. Their image seems slightly hazy to you for a moment, and as you are running past, you feel a sudden punch in your gut as you are staggered, and attached to your armor magnetically is some strange greenish grenade, and the last words you hear before your armor is engulfed is, "Hello, thin blood."
Oh no, they're back!
Dima, your vision is engulfed by green smoke, and I'm going to need a toughness test from you. As the green haze around you clears, there is a familiar Plague Marine standing in front of you. The illusion of the Deathwatch colours he was originally wearing now completely faded, and he is holding in one hand a grisly-looking bolt pistol and the other a wicked-looking plague sword. And at his hip is the canister holding the biophage, and he beckons to you with the sword, essentially offering you a challenge. However, you did initially see two of them here. Meanwhile, Sala, you are facing the enemy, heading forward, as suddenly the back of your head is grabbed and your face is slammed into the windowsill. Stunned for but a moment, you stagger backwards as behind you is a Deathwatch Astartes with a pair of axes. The Astartes takes off his helmet, and as he does so, the illusion around him flickers and begins to dissipate, revealing a familiar, blast-scored Khorne Berserker, half his breastplate repaired with bionics, and the Khorne Berserker backhands you swiftly, staggering you away from the window, and says, "Last time, you proved yourself a worthy adversary for the gladiatorial pits. I would know the name of the warrior whose skull I will take to Khorne." And you can see his face is this mass of pale, rotted-looking skin, his face permanently contorted in a half grimace like someone's cut off his lips. And there are these strange cables pulling down from his head down into his armor and body. and at his hip you can see a chain axe and a power axe and a bolt pistol.
I am Salah Al-Heed, and the Sands have named you dead heretic.
Ah! The only sands I know, Salah, are the sands of the gladiatorial pits! And he dons his helmet back on, pulls out his axes, twirling them, letting the blades clash against each other, and now the Vox grill adding a metallic edge to him. I am Xenophon, Bloodhowl! Come and die, loyalist scum! Meanwhile, downstairs, Konstantinos and Barbas, the door swings open, and 3 Deathwatch Astartes come in. One, an assault marine with a chainsword and bolt pack. The other, a tech marine, seeming to hold a heavy bolter. And the third, a tactical marine holding a combi melter. They rush over to you. The guy with a heavy bolter laying his hand on your shoulder and goes, "Brother, status report."
To who specifically, Barbas or me?
To you, specifically Konstantinos.
Brothers, it seems we have them on the rope with the watch captain arriving. It seems the battle has turned.
Who has the age canisters?
Brother, I have one canister and Brother Salo above has the other.
The other marine nods his head towards the tactical marine, and suddenly the tactical marine at point blank range unloads the melter part of his combi bolter into Barbas's back, as suddenly Konstantinos, the third twist of fate activates, and your entire armor begins to seize. As you realize where this warrior touched you, there is a small metallic cylinder with a demonic face. And you, in a moment, can give me a Forbidden Lore Chaos.
Can I do Forbidden Lore Traitor Legions?
No, this is a specific Chaos thing.
Then I do not have that.
You have no idea what this thing is, but suddenly all your senses, all your entire being is under attack by demonic screaming scrap code.
Is it affecting my armor, or is it
It is affecting your bionics and your armor. So, Barbas, you stagger as this hole has appeared in your abdomen of white-hot lightning. And adding to that comes in the assault marine, his disguise fading to reveal a Night Lord as he brings the chainsword into your gut, exploiting your already existing wound.
Barbas kind of freezes up for a second, but then at least Konstantinos, who's directly next to him, could just hear incredibly heavy breathing under the helmet.
In the doorway, you can see a Deathwatch librarian as appearing to those outside. The disguise dissipates as the librarian focuses on Garthiel, pointing a finger at him lazily. I'm going to need a willpower check from you, Garthiel.
Oh.
There is just this faint shimmer of energy, and Garthiel, you feel this sudden assault upon your mind of rage, external rage being poured into you. And you hold firm, recognizing it for the warp taint it is, recognizing it as malign corruption and not your righteous fury, and you push it back. And turning quickly into the doorway, the figure is gone. But for a moment, you saw a corrupted sorcerer in pink. So, to cap, upstairs on the landing of the Tau Airfield Administration Building is a Plague Marine with sword and pistol in close combat with Dima. There is now in the same room as Konstantinos and Barbas a Night Lord's Raptor, a seemingly tech marine looking Iron Warrior with a servo arm and heavy bolter, and a Alpha Legionnaire with a combi melter and some strange knife at his hip. Somewhere else that you are unknown of is a Emperor's Children sorcerer. And FYI, Konstantinos, your scanners are going crazy right now. In addition to that, there is still the Tau Riptide, 3 Crisis suits, and a Tau Commander.
Do I still have my Biophage canister?
You do not, and that is going to be the final twist of fate.
Did I see who took it?
You can now see your Biophage canister is hanging from the Iron Warrior's belt. So, we are now going from the sorcerers, so now they get double turns because they rolled really well on initiative. Konstantinos and Barbas, you are in a poor shape after that ambush. And coming and suddenly bursting in through the door is another Chaos Warrior, this time in pink armor, who summons up a bolt of dark energy in his hand and launches it towards Barbas.
Okay, stop, please!
Barbas, no, it's a queer!
Barbas, you can attempt to dodge this.
There's a chainsaw in my gut. Barbas, he's going through something. Ain't good. But as he sees this warrior burst in and, send weird energies his way, his Astartes training takes over. And he simply, although bleeding profusely, sidesteps the attack and lets it fly out through the transparent aluminum into the battlefield behind them.
Meanwhile, once again, the Night Lord brings his chainsword down on Barbas. The Night Lord's chainsword racks over your helmet, drawing up sparks, scraping through, cutting your face a little, and you are severely wounded at this point. You are bleeding heavily from the gut. Even your Astartes ability is not able to staunch this amount of blood flow. And as you are staggering back, the Night Lord buries his bolt pistol in your gut wound and pulls the trigger. The Night Lord pulls the trigger, the bolt exploding in your gut, taking Barbas off his feet into the corner of the room where he collapses, unmoving. August, Barbas' life signs are critical but stable. His Astartes physiology keeping him alive, but he needs immediate medical attention. His armor drilling into him, injecting him with pain stimulants, the only reason he is able to keep conscious as his system is flooded in pain suppressants. Meanwhile, the Alpha Legionnaire, seeing Barbas being taken care of, turns his combi melter onto Konstantinos, instantly pulling the trigger, letting loose another white-hot beam of destruction.
So that drops me down to 2 wounds?
Meanwhile, upstairs, the Khorne Berserker charges towards Sala, swinging with its power axe. The Khorne Berserker misses entirely.
Say again?
The Khorne Berserker just misses.
Loser!
Sala.
Alright, so Sala's just going to turn to this Khorne Berserker, and he's going to say,
2 warriors, both born of blood-soaked sands. Come, servant of the Red God, let us see if your blade grants an honorable death.
And then Sala's going to Furious Assault this guy. Sala raises Ignis Renatus, almost as if he's holding a spear pressed against his waist. The first swing is a swift pull upwards, with a very fast spin around, coming down and slashing at the Khornate warrior's chest, followed up by an immediate spinning stab right into the gash that his previous slash had made, landing once again in his chest.
The Khorne warrior reels back as the force of the power weapon hitting his bionics explodes outwards in a blast of energy, causing him to howl in rage as he is critically wounded. Garthiel.
As Garthiel, after grappling this tower battlesuit, pulls his power sword out, stabbing it repeatedly in the chest, ripping it open before pulling the tower out himself, and just pulling his chainsword straight through its chest, ripping it in two. As at the top of his lungs, he'll just shout, "You're next, sorcerer!"
Meanwhile, in the administration building, at the top of the stairs, the Plague Warrior advances on Dima, swinging with his Plague Sword.
In response to him raising his Plague Sword, Dima will just absolutely jut his hand up, catching the blade between them, with his just flame-enwreathed arm almost in an instant grabbing the blade. And as he does so, he will say to the Plague Marine, "I will do to you what you did to my mentor. I will treat you with the same kindness, right here, right now," as he'll just sort of push back on the sword.
The Plague Marine staggers back as your psychically empowered arm forces his blade away, and he laughs shortly. "Thin blood, you forget. You stand in the grandfather's gift." You're going to need to give me a toughness check, as you are surrounded by the green miasma still it beginning to corrode against your armor. Barbus, you're not looking too good, are you, mate?
The situation is dire. I'll be the first to say that. So, Barbus is a crumpled heap of a Marine. He has been blasted into this corner, and it looks like he's dead. But there is a jolt as his stimulants, now making their way through the system, his twin hearts beating ever faster, as the greatest stimulant of all rushes through, pure unfettered rage. And with haggard breath, he chokes out, "You will not escape with those canisters, heretic. I will not brook failure on this mission. You will die!" As he charges towards this Night Lord, like any ounce of composure he had is gone. This is a feral man. There is nothing left of that once, stoic religious man. This is a pit-fighting barbarian on a foreign planet who was taken by the Sky People. As he moves into melee, unwinds back one hell of a fucking haymaker and attempts to knock down the Night Lord.
Your haymaker swings around, cracking the Night Lord in the face, shattering his skull faceplate, bone fragments flying, as he is taken off his feet to the ground, blood spattering out of his Vox grill. The crisis suits. The situation being what it is, the crisis suits are not pleased at the moment. The crisis suits begin moving away, retreating towards the Riptide, still opening up on Watch Captain Barbarous, the shot immediately breaking on the Watch Captain's force field. The other is going to open up on Garthiel.
Garthiel, in his rage, turns to see one of the battle suits aiming its fusion blaster straight at him. In a split second, he activates his booster, jumping out the way as the beam sears past, narrowly missing him.
Finally, the Riptide, seeing his commander in a dire situation, delays his action. Commander Diahon immediately disengages from the pair of Astartes who had him pinned. And as he does, the Riptide unleashes a blast from its ion accelerator again. August, you're caught in this blast. Would you like to dodge?
Oh god, yeah, I'd like to dodge. I love you, Emperor. Doesn't love me. So I'm -2 critical.
Constantinos.
I would actually like to use my chapter demeanor, Bastions of Light, because I feel like this is a moment where Constantinos and one other member are in a very dire situation, meaning that, the Golden Warden's, purpose of being distant out in the Eastern Fringe, hoarding what little allies they could get, with the effects and all of my systems temporarily coming back online, turning around, seeing that what he thought was his allies have now turned into the traitorous Astartes he had fought before. Such rage fills Constantinos as he realized that one of his closest members of this party has almost been outright killed, and they are now in an outright scurry. As his servo arm lunges forward, almost without a second thought, as it goes to strike the Iron Warrior right in the leg.
The servo arm puts itself around the Iron Warrior's right leg, closing and crushing the armor, crumpling the Iron Warrior's silver plates. But as your servo arm extends out, so does the Iron Warrior's, attacking you, striking you in the right arm, crushing it. The Iron Warrior's servo arm clamps down around your arm, ripping it from the socket, throwing your black-clad limb to the floor, blood spurting as you stagger back, pain suppressants flooding your system, the only thing keeping you conscious. And then the Iron Warrior gets to act. So, the Iron Warrior surges forward, his servo arm latching onto Konstantinos' head, as Konstantinos' servo arm latches onto this Iron Warrior's left arm, and they begin a race against each other of whose bionics are stronger. But Konstantinos' give way, and Konstantinos is picked up bodily off the floor, slammed into the ceiling, slammed into the floor, and then thrown against the wall, where he clatters to the floor, his life signs dropping to absolute critical. August, Konstantinos is at the point of dreadnought interment, immediate medical attention, or dead.
With August's medical knowledge, how long does he have to get to Konstantinos?
Yeah, so if Konstantinos is not too badly injured, and considering the fact he's a tech marine, you can probably just leave him as he is and he won't bleed out and he won't die.
August has a lot of choices to make right now, because, sorry, how many of the squad are in critical, excluding myself?
Barbus is in critical, Konstantinos is out of the combat. You are in critical.
August surveys the battlefield, taking in all the factors, calculating how long Konstantinos still has to live, trying to bring all the numbers in. He shakes his head and charges straight forward, up towards the first floor, and charges straight into the Khorne Berserker, bringing his axe down into its leg.
The blade severs the Khorne Berserker's right leg. The Khorne Berserker, trying to keep his balance, stumbles, falling out of the window August has just crashed through, plummeting onto the ground below.
August turns to Sala, very wearily, kind of planting the head of his axe into the floor to kind of give himself something to lean on.
My apologies for stealing the duel, brother. But our squad needs you. Now more than ever. You are their leader. Go to them.
The sands favor us today, brother.
Crackling over the Vox, you hear the voice of the watch captain. Squad Ignis, what's going on in there? I saw heretics.
August goes into a sort of concentrated cant of clicks and signals to try and shorten all of the combat situation as briefly as possible, but it's probably still going to take him a minute while he sits there on the floor.
Hear me now, brothers. Stand for the long vigil. Stand for the watch. Let not the enemies of man overwhelm you. You are the shield that strikes first. You are the silence that defends the darkness. You are the Deathwatch. Now get up! Everyone is going to heal. We cannot allow this riptide to lay down fire upon us. Ignis, extract with the biocanisters. Defend yourself from the heretics. I will deal with the Tau. And he is going to begin running like straight towards the riptide, reaching it in a single turn in a dead sprint. And then he is going to use a special ability. No. As Watch Captain Varvarus is now taking a second turn and punctuating the end of Varvarus's speech as he leaps up, swinging his Thunderhammer. He slams into the core of the riptide, breaking apart its chest, and there is a colossal blue explosion that engulfs the Watch Captain and the surviving Tau that shakes the earth, dust flying so that you no longer see them, as the riptide detonates in a Nova reactor explosion. It is just you guys versus Hand of Abaddon right now.
Wait, what happened to Dihon?
Dihon may be alive, he may be dead. You don't know. There's just been a big... The Watch Captain could be dead for all you know. The Sorcerer is going to head upstairs. The Night Lord is going to be stunned. I think he can stand back up and that's it. Alpha Legionnaire is going to disengage following the Emperor's Children. August and Sala, you hear a strange sound from outside. Dima, you feel a disturbance in the warp, and the Khorne Berserker's body is gone. Dima, so coming up the stairs is now an Emperor's Children Sorcerer and a Alpha Legionnaire with a combi melter. You are still engulfed in this plague miasma.
Is this taking up the whole upper floor, I'm guessing?
It's taking up a 10-meter radius around you. Alright, so Dima, you are coughing and spluttering through the miasma as the Nurgle's rot begins to literally devour your lungs and throat. What do you do?
Dima is gonna bring his axe down. So I'm sick of this smell, these senses, and I'm sick of you. And he's gonna run forward, slam the axe down into that head, neck area, almost attempting to decapitate this fella, screaming, "This is for my planet!"
You sink your axe into this guy's skull, and it barely breaks through the armor. It feels like you have just chopped against rockcrete. Your axe is making no headway, and the warrior laughs
Was that meant to hurt, Thin Blood?
No, but this is. If Dima had his helmet off, you would see him crack the most wicked grin a loyalist space marine could make. As all this Death Guard marine would see from his point of view is flame engulfing Dima, traveling from his iron arm to his axe arm, just from the outside perspective, quite literally blowing him up. Almost like just this giant eruption of fire based from the wound or the crack that the axe put in his helmet.
The flames stream out of the Death Guard's helmet as he howls in agony, staggering backwards, toppling down the stairwell. You just hear this like thunderous crash as his flaming form dissipates, and you are left confronting two new Chaos Space Marines.
And that one was from me.
Sala.
Sala's going to Berserk Charge. As he exits the room and sees the Emperor's Children Marine at the corner of his eye, this Slaneshi Marine, he shouts,
Servant of excess, know that your kind has fallen by my hand 12 times over.
So as Sala sees this Slaneshi Marine, this Slaneshi sorcerer, a rare moment of rage overcomes him, sort of visually and emotionally, as he charges right at this connoisseur of chaos. Knowing in his heart that he's struck down dozens of these pink Marines, he does a swinging overhead jump and brings the blade of Ignis Renatus down right into the side of this sorcerer's helmet.
Your blade cuts a wicked gash into the helmet as the Emperor's Children tries to stagger out the way, but not quite making it, cutting his flesh. Garthiel.
Seeing Konstantinos' vitals tank, Garthiel, in a common act of rage, charges the Iron Warrior, who's already severely damaged, with just a full frontal attack. Garthiel smashing through the window in such a blind rage that he swings his blades as the Iron Warrior dodges every single one of them.
All of you once again hear a strange whooshing sound. At Dima, you feel that disturbance in the warp again, as at the bottom of the stairs, the Death Guard disappears into a black portal with the biophage canister. Barbas.
As the Night Lord tries to get up and get away, Barber shouts, "You will not escape me!" As he lets his fists do the talking. So as Barbas approaches his target once again, he lashes out. There's not any technique found anymore. This is the desperation of a cornered animal. As his first punch strikes him square in the gut, his hands like cracking on impact, Ceramite splintering. Not on his opponent though, on his, because this was not a good idea. And the second hit collides square in the section of the broken skull mask, peeling away more fragments from both sides, as the Night Lord obviously recoils from the hits, but takes them much better than before.
So, this Iron Warrior is going to basically back up from you, Garthiel, and you will just hear from his vox, "Born, take down the Devastator and assist the others. I'm getting out of here with the biophage." And pulls out from his belt this long, thin finger bone, which he snaps with a thumb, and then a dark energy erupts all around him, and he disappears. Alright, August.
August is going to jump over, using his jump pack to land behind the Emperor's Children Marine and the Alpha Legionnaire and strike. Going to try and grapple the Alpha Legionnaire to neutralize that Melta threat.
The Alpha Legionnaire twists your arm using the power of CQC to take hold of the grapple. You are now grappled by the Alpha Legionnaire. The Emperor's Children Marine swipes at Sala with his forestave, Sala nimbly stepping around the blow. But it was merely a feint or distraction, as the Emperor's Children Marine lunges out with his hand, ripping the biophage canister from Sala's belt. Meanwhile, downstairs in the brawling room, this Night Lord is going to swing at Barbas with his chainsword. The Night Lord is then going to just half-action jump pack away. So, the Night Lord attempting to jump pack away, your hand locks around his ankle, stopping his escape.
I am not done with you yet!
Let go of me or you'll lose your hand!
You will lose your life. A hand is but the price to pay.
The Night Lord, in frustration and partial cowardice, because he doesn't like Garfield being in the room, is going to pull out a finger bone, snapping it. Dark energy coursing around his body. Barbas, do you let go of his ankle?
No!
Barbas, your hand is engulfed in black energy, and as it disappears, so does your hand. You have lost one hand. The Alpha Legionnaires draw their knife in the grapple and it immediately stabs it into Augus's neck.
That's fine. It's all temp. I don't care.
Dima.
Dima will just put his axe in his belt, like a starty sprint, dive, and snatch it on his way past the Legionnaire.
As Aaron snatches the biophage from the Emperor's Children Marine, Sala's going to, still feeling wrath at the presence of a worshipper of Slaanesh, Sala's going to come in with a swinging body strike and follow it up with a crouched strike right into the Emperor's Children's leg, taking his leg clean off.
As the Emperor Children falls, screaming in agony, he pulls a finger bone from his belt, snapping it as he falls into a pool of blackness and disappears.
As Garfield rushes out the door, sparks flying as he scrapes across, what is the closest enemy to Garfield?
The Alpha Legionnaire who is grappling August.
As Garfield charges at the Alpha Legionnaire, Garfield leaping out of the door, sparks flying as he skids across, spots the Alpha Legionnaire on his lonesome, as with a full burst of his jump pack, charges the heretic, stabbing his sword, breaking his lock with August, as in a continuous fit of pure anger and rage, just stabs him in the chest over and over and over, the power sword ripping open his armor like it was a hot knife through butter.
The Alpha Legionnaire falls back. You're pretty sure he's dead, but as he is going down, his seeming last act is to reach to his belt, snapping what you presume to be another finger bone as he falls into a pool of darkness and disappears. The dust of battle clears, the Tau are gone, the Riptide is a smouldering crater. The Chaos kill team that came in is now gone. Their blood and your blood mixing on the floor of this Tau airport administration building. All of them have disappeared in clouds of inky black energy. And outside you can hear the roar of Corvus Blackstar engines. As in the downstairs room, Barbas drops to the floor, his strength having left him, and Konstantinos' unconscious body still lying where the Iron Warrior threw it. Upstairs, August staggers as the adrenaline leaves him, but his combat pain suppressants keep him standing.
August, being relieved of the Alpha Legionnaire, looks to Garthiel, who I imagine is still panting and a bit out of it.
Yes.
He passes him walking down the stairs. He thinks about patting him on the shoulder, does not pat him on the shoulder, but nods somewhat courteously.
Your ferocity has done us well this day, brother. You made them bleed, and you have my respect.
Before he shuffles on past, moving down to tend to his brothers.
Just as August passes, Garfield will turn his head. So, not as uncontrolled as you said?
Oh, still definitely uncontrolled, but mighty, despite it.
Excellent.
Before August can get to the injured Marines downstairs, a crackle over the Vox comes. I'm here for your extraction, Kill Team Ignis. Get on board. Quickly, bring the wounded. They can get patched back up on the Lance of Penance.
Sala's going to get on his Vox and literally just trying to signal Watch Captain Varvarus, and he's literally just going to say the words,
Watch Captain, status.
No response.
He's not going to do anything with that information. He's just going to go ahead and start to board the Corvus Blackstar.
Garthiel will pick up Konstantinos.
But I will pick up Barbas.
Don't let that fucking ape anywhere near me, man. I don't want his...
Konstantinos is fully unconscious. You probably could use another hand in carrying him.
August will. He says it is his duty.
Barbas also could need another hand. Sala, are you going to help carry Barbas?
Sala will help Harry Barbas.
Don't forget my last cam.
Garthiel will pick up a las cannon stick on his back.
As you take your wounded out of the building, you will see, slowly walking towards the Corvus Blackstar, directly outside of the administration building, is Watch Captain Varvarus carrying the head of the Riptide battlesuit wrapped in chains. He looks over to you. Where are the canisters?
Dima will present his one. This is all we have left. They took the rest.
This failure will cost the Imperium dearly, Ignis. But no, it is not yours alone. Board the Corvus Blackstar, you'll be debriefed upon recovery. And he's going to offer a hand to help carry Barbas.
Of course we will accept.
And with that, you all board the Corvus Blackstar and exit your very first mission failure.
Hey, Varvarus here, coming at you from the void once again. Thank you for watching. Make sure to like and subscribe, and don't forget to share your favourite moment from this episode or any feedback you have in the comments. We are really close to 1k subs, so please subscribe if you haven't already, and share this series with your friends. As always, a massive thank you to the patrons, and an extra big thanks to our new patrons, Brojo's Strange Journey and Ferris. Becoming a patron really helps us out, and you get access to the full uncut recordings of our episodes. If you'd like to support the channel but can't afford to donate monthly, I have a Ko-fi for one-off donations. Don't worry if you can't afford to support at all. Watching, sharing, and being a part of the community is a big help too. I also stream on Twitch Tuesdays at 6pm GMT. It's a great way for me to interact with you all. Hope to see you there. Don't forget to join our Discord as we have our community campaign, so you too can play Deathwatch. New players are more than welcome. Links to everything I just mentioned are down in the description below. And until next time,
suffer not the alien to live. Twist of Fate is sponsored by generic brand cola. Never forget this. If you forget the sponsor of Twist of Fate is generic brand cola, there will be a reckoning. I will come into your walls and I will eat cheese in them. And I hate cheese. So you'll just be in the middle of the night and hearing me like gagging in the walls of that doesn't sound good. I'm gonna abandon this.